going out for elections on that. You know, in May it passed, and we're almost a whole year. Now, they said, has it been something done with that bond? Yeah, but the prior schools that were done were already being done regardless if we passed the bond. Those schools were gonna get done with our taxpayer money. So those three, that STEM college was done, and the two health schools, one of Harlandale and one of McCullum was done. Those were gonna be done regardless of the bond pass. Okay, now we got two other schools that are ready to go, and those kids want a school. I really don't know what the holdup on that is. Now, we can go back to, this has been years already that we've been talking about Gillette. Okay, yeah, Gillette was not in the bond, but are we gonna leave those kids out just because they weren't in the bond? Okay, what has the city said? The city has told us, do not leave no stale water in your yard because of the mosquitoes. Okay, now I have heard that there is some water underneath Gillette, and it's been there for years. Okay, we have not done nothing about it. Why can't we go in there and clean it up? Take that mud out, take that water out. If we're not gonna do no construction, then let's clean it out. Why leave it there until something is being done? We got staff from Harlandale that could probably go in there and clean it up. Let's show some activity to these parents. You know, I know we have some kind of savings on some of these bonds that we could probably use some of that money to get us somebody to go clean up that water and that mud out of there. But no, we don't want to touch it because we're looking for someone. We've been looking for someone for so many years. It needs to get done. It needs to get done. Someone needs to step up to that plate and actually do it. Say, you know what? Let's put in the agenda. Let's get someone out there and clear that water out. At least do that for the kids. You know where I was today? You know what this is? This is a voting registration right here. People promised us that they're gonna do all this for the city, for the state. Now, come on, stick up. Stand up and say, look, I got it done. I got something done. Because all it is just get me in there, just get me in there. We get you in there, well, let's do something about it. We all vote for a reason because we were promised something. We were promised that they're gonna do something. And let's not say there's no money or where are we gonna get the money. There's been some savings that has been presented here on this thing. Says we save this money, we save this money, we have this money. Let's use that money. Let's use it for a good reason. Let's use it for our kids. You know, when you get something pretty, the kids enjoy it, and maybe they'll be more happy, and maybe we'll get better score records as far as their academics. Why? Because they feel proud of themselves. That's all I'm asking. All I'm asking is, you know what? I don't have no little kids in elementary, but do I love those little kids? They're like our own. Why? Because we're a community, and we are family here at Harlandale. So thank you all for y'all's time.
Thank you, Mr. Asilo. Miss Lillian Zapata.
Good evening, board members. Board members, you always emphasize transparency. Unfortunately, no transparency has been forthcoming where bond savings are concerned. Approximately $1.3 million has been saved on the STEM Early College, and $1.4 million have been negotiated on the security project. Therefore, on behalf of Bond Oversight, I am requesting from this board and this administration a reconciliation of bonds 2006 through 2015. In particular, the breakdown of savings from these bonds. And I want to thank Jasmine Engineering for bringing back savings that can be used for other projects. She never gets thanked. Board members, several members of the Oversight Committee voiced the idea of starting new with Gillette Elementary. Money already allotted for Gillette Foundation repairs and the savings from other projects could be used to build a new school instead of putting more money on a failed building. Gillette has been on the agenda for the last 3 years, and to date, the children continue to occupy a building that is truly sick. It is evident that the well-being of our children is not at the forefront. It is time to make it so. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Zapata. Ms. Gina Castaneda?
Good evening, board, staff, community. I was going to start with something different, but I've got to say this at the very beginning. And this is in response to a previous speaker. And I don't know where she's getting this information, but I challenge what was being said, but it's also misleading. Why should we strive for state or local averages, but we should strive for a higher average, not just the same as everybody else. It's got to be a higher average. Report cards, well, report card information comes directly from TEA, so every group that gets out there and gets those report cards comes from TEA. And as far as for complaints, and the one complaint that I think she's mentioning, it is not for public information, but it's still being investigated by proper authorities. So I just wanted to make that comment. But tonight, I really come before you with several observations and some questions for your thoughts and contemplation. As many of you think you can pull one over the community, well, you can't. Many of you think that we cannot think, figure out, voice their or our opinions. So, do you think we cannot investigate what we think is happening? We can. We've got minds. As for me, there's been many rumors that I'm being bought, that I work for someone, and I don't. I am my own person. And no one tells me, and I have to say this, and I wish my husband was here because he would take a laugh, because he doesn't even speak for me. I speak for myself. But I will tell you about information, and I laugh about this, that does fall on my lap. Even if it's through relatives, through friends, acquaintance, or other elected officials, I have to say I do get around. But some information that I received came my way from an out-of-town relative and some friends. So my question to all of you on this board, are there any conflict of interest for people that are sitting on this dais? And more specifically, with vendors, again. Secondly, why are we having a bond oversight committee meeting after the building committee, which we as the taxpayers, residents, and parents, especially parents, have no import or recourse that y'all don't want to listen to us. You're putting the cart before the horse. We also have some board members that do not have the best interest of the district. Example, recently elected board members file for another position.
Mr. Wilson?
It's just in regards to names, and also watch the defamatory comments, if any, from
Thank you.
the podium.
My third question is to those board members. Why are you here? When you just got elected and you're running for another office? Why are some of the members not attending important meetings that you were elected to attend? Some of you also think just because I don't live in your certain area that I don't have any influence.
30 seconds.
We know games are being played here and we can see it. So please do not play with the children's future, the staff's future, and especially the community's future, because there's a lot of mama hens out there that are going to protect their young ones. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Castaneda. Just real quick. I'm going to address this to the audience real quick. I allowed it this time, but if you're going to be in the audience and speak, you're not allowed to comment on another speakers from this meeting or a prior meeting, like the agenda stated. Your topics are supposed to be something that relates to an agenda item or concerns that you have with board members. And just to let you know, I will cut you off next time. You're not allowed to comment on somebody else's comment. It's clearly stated on the agenda item. Thank you. I'm going to move on.
Sure.
But before the next item is,
Can we take a 5-minute break?
before we move on to item 5, we're going to go ahead and take a quick 5-minute break. Thank you. And